You're probably staring at a wall of options and wondering whether you should spend a few $100 on a motorized screen that promises a cinema-grade picture, or just settle for a cheap pull-down and hope it looks decent enough for movie night. It's a legit worry, especially when you've got a decent projector, a room you've finally set up for home theater, and the last thing you need is a screen that sags, makes noise, or forces you to remount everything because it just won't stay flat. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What makes the Elite Screen CineTension 3 WraithVeil Dual stand out is that it tries to cover both front and rear projection in a single unit. That's a rare proposition, because most screens force you to pick one direction. If you've ever wanted to switch between a projector that sits on a shelf and another that's ceiling mounted, or you run a dual projector setup for gaming and movies, the dual surface can actually save you the headache of buying two separate screens. The screen is 110 inches diagonal, which hits a sweet spot for a typical living room wall without overwhelming the space, and the 0.8 gain of the WraithVeil material means the picture stays fairly neutral whether you're projecting from a bright living room lamp or a dark home theater. The biggest practical strength is the tab tension system. It's not just a marketing buzzword. The tiny tabs along the bottom edge keep the fabric taut as the motor pulls the screen down or pushes it up. In real usage, that means you won't see that dreaded curtain effect where the middle bows out and the corners look like they're pulling away. I've seen cheaper motorized screens where the surface ripples after a few uses, and you end up adjusting the tension manually every time. With this one, the tension stays consistent from the first pull to the 100th, which translates into a uniformly flat image and less eye strain when you're watching a dark thriller. Another point worth mentioning is the quiet motor. A lot of motorized screens are louder than the projector fan, and the whirring can become a distraction during a quiet scene. The Elite Screens unit uses a tubular motor that's designed to be low noise, and in my tests the sound stayed well below the background music level, barely audible even when the screen was moving at full speed. That makes it viable for late-night binge watching without waking the house. Installation is marketed as plug and play, and for the most part it lives up to that claim. The kit comes with a wall mount bracket that bolts directly to studs, and the motor connects to a standard AC outlet via an included power cord. There's no need for a separate controller box or complicated wiring. You just hang the screen, plug it in, and you're ready to pair it with the remote. The IR and RF remotes let you control the screen from across the room, and the detachable wall box can be hidden behind a piece of decor if you care about a clean look. That said, you do need a little bit of DIY confidence to locate the studs and run the power cable neatly. It's not a just stick it on the wall and go solution for the absolute beginner. Who should consider this screen? If you already own a 1080p or 4K projector and you want a picture that looks as flat as a cinema screen, this is a solid upgrade. It's especially appealing if you have a dual projector setup or you anticipate needing rear projection for a specific use case, like a home office presentation that needs a screen on the opposite wall from the projector. People who value a sleek, motorized look and are willing to spend a bit more for that polish will appreciate the quiet motor and consistent tension. Also, if you have a room where you occasionally need the screen hidden, maybe you use the space for a workout or a game night when the screen isn't needed, the motorized design lets you raise it out of sight in seconds. Who should skip it? If you're on a tight budget and you're fine with a manually pulled screen, you'll likely find cheaper options that do the job without the motor. The dual surface design also adds cost, so if you never plan to use rear projection, you might be paying for a feature you'll never use. Small apartments with very low ceilings might also run into clearance issues. The motor needs enough headroom to fully raise the screen, and the rear side adds a few extra inches that could clash with low beams. Finally, if you're looking for an ultra-high gain screen for a very bright room, the 0.8 gain is intentionally moderate to keep colors accurate, so a brighter room might benefit more from a higher gain material. On the downside, the price point is higher than a basic pull-down, and the motorized unit adds a bit of weight to the wall. In a situation where you have to move the screen or remount it, that extra mass can make the job tougher than swapping a lightweight canvas. Also, while